Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
10-cent files for patent related to virtual concerts in the metaverse. This is the kind of stuff that excites me because I see it just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Just so all of you understand, you know, we're going to bring this thing in for a landing with Ripple and XRP, the case ending, getting clarity, understanding the path that we all have been waiting to hear be officially publicly recognized, because I believe we all are correct on the matter. And if we're not, I'm probably going to have to live in the woods. But and not because of any of you listening to the show, but because of Mrs. Backup. Anyway, you know, but I do believe we understand greatly what is the final destination for XRP. And I want to let everybody know, as the channel grows, as the market begins to find its clarity and regulatory clearance, we're going to really push hard into NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse projects. I'm already looking at a lot of them, and this is very exciting to see this. So I just wanted to touch on that and let everybody understand that going into it. This is a reminder of the news that broke yesterday. We're not going into this again. You can watch yesterday's video. It appears that, and it doesn't appear, it is a fact, the majority shareholders from Consensus working for Joseph Lubin are now demanding that a public audit be done under Swiss laws. They cite some irregularities in his behavior and business actions, and it is getting to be a situation over there. And that's outside of what's going on with what we have talked about and uncovered and talked about on the channel about ETHgate. This is a separate issue altogether. So we will keep you attuned to what is going on there. Right here, we see in Mexico, the Central Bank of Mexico is ready. The Bank of Mexico plans to launch its central bank digital currency. Mexico's private banking is willing to support the issuer in this project. However, it must first convince the 85% of Mexicans who still use cash. So there is a bit of a climb there, it seems, right? But I tell you, they're going to do it because I tell you, just like being able to, I remember when pagers came in. Why would I want a pager? And the moment that somebody could make it convenient for you, that they could call you before you left so you could pick something up and bring it home, and then the cell phone was the same way. As soon as you can bring that practicality and simplify someone's life like that, the moment it happens, it will be something you don't have to convince them of anymore. They'll want it. And having your money on your phone and being able to spend it anywhere is a great way to really bring everybody to the other side. Looking right here, hot off the press, Google goes blockchain. Yeah, say that once fast or 5 times. Right here we see Google goes blockchain here. It says president of Google division will focus on blockchain and other next generation distributed computing and data storage technologies, according to an email obtained by Bloomberg. Now listen, we know Google is a seed investor in Ripple. Just thought you should know. R3, Hong Kong cyberport to push CBDC technology. Here's what I found interesting in this little article here. Blockchain company R3, really quickly, which we know is tied together with the use and settlement of the digital asset XRP through the Corda platform and the Corda settler, which has access to digital assets for settlement. It says here, company R3 has launched an office in Hong Kong to develop technologies related to China's central bank digital currency, the digital yuan, the firm said. The collaboration with Cyberport, Hong Kong's tech hub, will enable R3 to offer Corda, which obviously has access to the Corda platform and Corda settler for settlement of digital assets, is distributed ledger platform. It says here a conclave. It's confidential computing platforms to Hong Kong's fintech startups. New York-based R3 said it would support the creation of software applications based on digital trust technologies. Cyberport and R3 will launch a series of blockchain training programs for technical developers later this year to help with the process. So there you see that. Things are moving, ladies and gentlemen. It says here on Capitol Hill, and just a second, we'll head right up the street, but Capitol Hill, Ron Hammond says, has been and will be a hyper focus on the idea of Russians will turn to crypto to evade sanctions, no matter how much clarity we've gotten from Brad Garlinghouse and Ashish Birla and others. Even as data supporting this narrative suggests the opposite, glad to have experts like Chainalysis and the other gentleman here on the Hill to help educate others. Now, let's head up the street to Gary Gensler's neck of the woods at the SEC. Gary Gensler is reportedly moving to investigate whether NFT developers and marketplaces are breaching securities rules, numerous news outlets disclosed on Thursday. And I don't mind telling you, this is why I get people that ask me every day, multiple companies and people, hey, can you promote my new coin? Can you promote my new token project? Nope. The answer has always been no. And I mean, they have offered ungodly amounts of money, and I won't do it. And I won't do it because I don't want the SEC to have a reason to come see me. That is for damn sure. Now, with that being said, this is a quick clip that Andrew Bertholdt shared of a conversation from John formerly from, what was it, Comedy Channel? I can't remember his last name, it's escaping me right now, but he's sitting down talking to Gary Gensler, none other than Gary Gensler, and he says here he's been thinking a lot about losing lately. He says, or this is an attempt to prepare the public for their colossal defeat in the Ripple SEC case. He's usually far more confident, almost arrogant about their ability and track record, and he's absolutely right here. And what I did was matter of fact, let me play this so you can see his energy here. It feels very unlike what we've seen of him in the past. Take a look.
To litigate. This agency has to be willing to go into court and, take some losses from time to time, but go into court.
Right.
I think all of those things, but it's trying to use high-profile cases to bring folks back on the right side of the line to litigate.
It really does feel like his energy is off, and it's Jon Stewart there. My apologies, John. So, what I find interesting is that I'll put this clip together, thankfully, because of Nerd Nation, who found it. This is what's great about this space. There's so many people out in this space, and it truly takes a village, and shout out to Nerd Nation for bringing it up. But I was looking for this clip that I'm about to play you, and at the time I'm looking for it, I see it posted on Twitter, and I was like, that's it, and I did the mashup. So take a listen to his first coming into the SEC and what he says, that the SEC's never lost a case. I ask you, did we just hear Gary Gensler concede defeat, possibly, to the SEC versus Ripple case?
Over the years, the SEC has brought dozens of cases, many of them during my predecessor's time. I've only been here 3 months. And yet, having brought dozens of cases, we haven't lost a case. Having brought dozens of cases, we haven't lost a case. We haven't lost a case.
To litigate. This agency has to be willing to go into court and, take some losses from time to time. Into court and, take some losses from time to time. But court and, take some losses from time to time. But go into court.
Right.
I think all of those things, but it's trying to use high-profile cases to bring folks back on the right side of the line.
Over the years,
that to me is showing two very different Gary Genslers right there. Now, I do want to be full disclosure. I did make this comment down here. Full disclosure, a settlement doesn't constitute a win or a loss, or at least that's how it will be spun if it has any relevance at all. So, if any of this is in fact speaking to the case at hand, and I have to wonder why in the world would Gary Gensler choose to sit down with Jon Stewart? I can only imagine that Jon Stewart is really somebody who's speaking to certainly my age group. I used to watch Jon Stewart, right? He's not telling this to mainstream media. I don't hear him sitting down with CNBC and saying this, or not even Fox, or not even CNN. When I see him sitting down with somebody who has some pop culture value, And where has he been catching the most flack from? Pop culture on Twitter, right? So, the investor group, which is really tied into pop culture, is what my guess is in his mind. If this is in fact relevant at all, that's how I see the connection here. We will see. Time will tell. We are inside a 2-week window for which the SEC will sit down for a settlement conference with Judge Netburn as the mediator. This does not guarantee anything, but it certainly feels like we're looking at two very, very different Gary Genslers in those clips. I will say that. Now let's change gears a little bit because I want to bring us to this. What is the case about? Well, certainly the case is over the issue of whether it's a security or not. SEC's made that abundantly clear. But I have said many times, I also believe it is a legal audit and vetting process for the company Ripple, the protocol XRP Ledger, and the native token XRP. I really do believe that is a part of this. I'm going to play this clip from you from back in November of Ashish Burla, who is the head of RippleNet, and he's going to explain Ripple Liquidity Hub to the gentleman interviewing him from Yahoo Finance. And let's talk about this for a second, and then I've got Jack McDonald from PolySign as well. Take a listen.
As part of Liquidity Hub, is that trading? Is there a trading component too?
Well, underpinning, liquidity is the buy and sell. And the definition of, liquidity is the buy and sell. So we offer an interface that enables enterprises to buy and sell crypto. So, you can think of us as an integrator and aggregator across a number of exchanges. If you're familiar with Kayak or Google Flights, it's sort of an integrator across a number of different travel websites. Think about Liquidity Hub as aggregating crypto liquidity across a number of venues. Today, a lot of centralized ones, but I think in the future, decentralized liquidity is going to become more important, and I'm excited to head that way as well with the product.
To the crypto noobs out there on the Yahoo Finance platform, does this put you in competition with the Coinbase and Robinhood?
Listen very carefully to what he says here.
So Robinhood, I think, is a front end, and they have a lot of different trading venues. With Coinbase, Coinbase is a centralized exchange. We would sit on top of a company like Coinbase and aggregate that liquidity across a number of venues. And so, not only just potentially Coinbase, but Bitstamp and all the other exchanges out there. We're like that aggregator layer. Again, today centralized, but in the future, I think the market's going to head more and more decentralized in terms of exchanges. That's where we want to be as a product as well into the future.
So the market's going to be more and more decentralized as we move into the future, right? And they want to be positioned for that. He also says they would sit on top of an exchange like a Coinbase and other exchanges. Okay, now what does this have to do, Brad? Why are you playing this? This is from November. Well, the reason I'm playing it is because, listen, there's speculation here. It's what we do. So we're going to do it today. I asked you here, did we hear Gary Gensler concede defeat? And could it possibly have been related to the SEC versus Ripple case? Does that mean settlement, which is not a win or a loss, possibly, right? But we don't know. But what I do believe, and if we are correct, that in fact this case, as much as it is a legal case, it is an audit and vetting process. Because why? Because the XRP Ledger is a protocol. Okay, we know that, Brad. What's so special about that? Well, but this protocol, just like the HTTP protocol, is for building and housing every website in the world, which it does, by the way. Then you think of it as this. The XRP Ledger protocol is a decentralized exchange for all the world and all the money. So let's take a look at something here. Take a look at this. I put together a little diagram here because you guys know, if you've been with me for any length of time, I believe RippleNet will become a part of SWIFT. I've said it from day one. I think the conflict we're seeing in Russia and Ukraine proves a vital need for that to happen sooner rather than later, in fact. But understanding the Ripple's Liquidity Hub the way it was explained by Ashish Burla, The banks, the SMEs, the exchanges, remittance companies, a la Coinbase, would sit underneath of the umbrella. The actual umbrella would be the liquidity hub on top of all of these things, for which they would all plug into to be able to source liquidity for the things that they need. And because you're using Ripple as this back layer, this liquidity hub behind everything that plugs into it, you can now easily find the liquidity you need from many different places that Coinbase couldn't find it alone. Or the SME, the small medium enterprises, could not source and find it for themselves alone. Or the banks even, or remittance companies, and so on and so on and so on as it goes. The idea is that we understand that the XRP ledger protocol is a decentralized ledger for the world. So that's why the Ripple Liquidity Hub would actually sit on top of these things or behind them. And then these entities like Coinbase and others plug into them to source liquidity. This would give us the most accurate prices. This would guarantee that if you are on a separate financial system like Russia currently has now, with 399 customers and partners on it, if you want to do business outside of your little fancy system you built, Russia, you may have to plug into our liquidity hub to source your needs. And when you do that, now we got you back in the loop again.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.